Now you can ask that question.
Are we live yet? No, really, are we live? You're not going to tell me. I'm just going to...
Yeah, we are.
Okay, good.
You still muted your microphone though.
Sorry?
You muted your microphone when you went to the loo.
Which microphone? Oh yeah, I did mute my microphone.
Ah, unprofessional start.
There we go. My microphone's not muted anymore. Right? See, I know what I'm doing.
And I've got to wear comically large headphones for reasons we'll explain very shortly.
I think it's pretty apparent, right? You need to be able to hear what's going on. I mean, well, I guess you don't need to, but you want to. Little, micromanaging my audio. There you go. Oh, you got to put it back on. Okay.
So slightly hidden that way around.
Have you got your Andalusian bowl?
No, you've got.
Okay, you're not smoking this one though. You're smoking the other one.
Yes.
This one today, you're just gonna be looking at it. There you go. COVID, 2 meters.
That was editing magic there. Oh, and I've dropped my headphones.
Oh, for God's sake.
There we go. Trying to be
smoking
too
the bulls
unprofessional.
though. Yeah, let's just do a quick introduction. I forgot how to do introductions. Hi everyone, welcome back to the live stream. Today we're going to be talking about NFTs because that is obviously a subject that no one gets pissed off about. And we're going to be talking about La Flor Dominicana, a brand that I'm pretty passionate about actually. I know I smoke mostly Cuban cigars, but La Flor Dominicana is one of those brands that I'm... In fact, I'll tell you a story as well when we get into it, but we have a very special guest today. We have Mr. Anthony Gomez, who is the son of Lito Gomez from La Flor Dominicana, and we've got him on a Zoom call. So we're going to go back and forth between my dumbass and Anthony, and then hopefully we can have a little conversation. Obviously, you guys can put comments and whatever you want to talk, or if you've got any comments or whatever. Alex is here as well, so he's going to be handling the comments section. Alex, yes, no?
Yes.
Oh,
that's what I was just getting to.
Oh, yeah, he's getting to the comment section now. And, but yeah, there's a couple of things that, I mean, I've been interested in the NFT scene for cigars for a little while, but they've just been a little bit funny so far, because so far, what was that company that made that NFT? Atabi? It was Atabi, wasn't it? And they made that, we even produced a live stream about it. We talked about how, the Atabi NFT.
Yeah, I didn't talk though.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. We basically concluded it was a bit of a gimmick, right? And then everyone was, I mean, it was just a bit of a gimmick. I mean, they put the charity aspect to it as well, but the charity aspect was just to kind of minimize the blow of the fact that it was a bit of a gimmick. It was a bit of a marketing stunt, from my perspective. I could be wrong though, but that's what it felt like. But I was still interested in NFTs, and then La Flor Dominicana comes out with an NFT, and immediately I was like, oh, this is cool. And then Anthony from La Flor Dominicana reached out to us and said, hey, do you guys want to do a live stream? And I was like, hell yes. So here we have Anthony all the way from the States. Where are you, Anthony?
I'm actually in Dominican Republic.
Oh, you're in the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Yeah. Enjoying the sun. We had a little bit of sun today.
Anthony, have you got headphones?
So that's your fix of the year. That's about it, right?
Yes. No, Anthony is wearing headphones. Yeah, he's got earphones on. You've got earphones, a headset or something?
I can hear...
Can you hear me?
I can hear Usman's voice through your computer. Suddenly.
Oh. Well, is it coming on the feed?
Yes.
Oh, it's coming on the feed. Maybe I'm being too loud. It's coming up on Anthony's microphone.
It's I thought you had headphones on.
Yeah. Anthony, you are wearing headphones, aren't you, Anthony? Yeah. He's wearing headphones. How about now?
Your computer is also now playing the audio from the stream.
Is there is your speakers on the computer? Are there speakers on your computer which is playing something?
Oh, I know what it is.
No.
Okay.
Is it coming from me?
It's coming from that.
Is it coming from this? So how do I switch this off?
You need to... Oh, God.
Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry about this.
This wasn't an issue before we
started. A little
started.
technical difficulty here. Yeah, you're just gonna have to go in and do it. Basically.
You're going to have to use the microphone from this.
I need to use the microphone on that,
Yeah.
but that's gonna come through on the mainstream.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's just going to come through on there. You're going to have to hear yourself. You can mute that if you want,
Okay.
but then you can't hear him. So you can mute single people, actually. Oh, wait, I can do that on here.
But it was working fine a minute ago, wasn't it?
No, I can't do that on here. Yeah, okay. Mute yourself on there.
Okay.
You're going to have to hear yourself talk, that's all. It did work fine a minute ago, and I don't know what's changed.
Okay. How about now? Can you still hear me, Anthony? Okay, perfect.
No one else can hear him yet.
What about now?
There he is.
Is it coming through on the stream?
Yep.
Okay, so I can put these away then.
You still need to be able to hear him.
Okay. Right. Okay, let's start. So, how's... Sorry, with Zoom and 2 cameras and everything, we're just trying to get things together. So sorry about
The joys
this,
of
Anthony.
live production.
I'm sorry, guys. Obviously, this is a brilliant production going on. A couple of toasters and some morons. Right, you know what? I'm going to light my cigar because I need to smoke right now. And Anthony, what are you smoking today?
I'm smoking the cigar in question, of course.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah. The now infamous NFT cigar.
Yes, yes. Everything coming through fine, Alex? Okay, good. So we could go back and forth between my face and the Zoom call. Oh, we finally figured it out. We finally figured it out. I'm smoking the Auto Chisel. This cigar, it's an interesting shape because I don't know if you guys can see. Is that coming up on screen? Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, can they see it? So it's an interesting shape because, as the name would suggest, it looks a little bit like a chisel. And I watched this video with your father, Lito Gomez, talking about how you should cut the cigar. And there are numerous ways that you can cut the cigar. You can obviously cut the cigar with a standard cutter.
Yeah, but don't cut the chisel. You don't cut the chisel because it ruins the point of the chisel, right?
Yeah.
So if you're cutting into
you got to use a
shape,
punch cut.
the point of the shape. You punch
Okay.
it or you pinch it. Those are the 2 ways to do it.
Yeah, I've heard.
Punch
So
the
you can
top,
either
you
pinch
pinch
it
the
on the top
corners.
like that. So it's like smoking a pipe, basically.
Right. It's kind of like I think they're Peterson pipes, right? Where the holes on the top and the smoke kind of hits you in the roof of the mouth, right?
Well, I'm going to try the punch. I've got a punch on my lighter. I don't have a punch cutter, but I've got a punch on this cheap lighter that I bought. So basically punch on top, punch on bottom.
You just have to punch one side.
Punch one side. Okay.
You only need to, you can experiment too. Some people like to do both, but you only have to do one.
I'm going to go for the pinch method, I think.
Yeah, you go for the pinch method. I think I've already messed up this cigar, Oh, wait, no, I haven't. It's cool. It's cool.
Oh, that worked.
Very good.
Really
Check
well.
for the draw.
Actually, really good draw.
There you go.
See, normally I hate punch cuts. It looks horrible, but on this
I
cigar,
never
it looks
punch
fine.
cut. I will only punch cut a chisel. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't do
No,
that. No.
On this cigar, it looks fine. And oh, that's a nice aroma. That's a nice aroma. So I've been warned about this cigar. I'm just going to quickly talk to the audience very quickly. So I've been warned by a lot of people about this cigar. Now, most of you probably know I'm a lightweight, okay? I smoke Cubans and, like just baby cigars, just stuff which is easy smokes. And then Ray has been talking about this cigar for a while and I was like, oh, I got to try this. And he's like, you don't want to try it. I want to try it. So today I'm going to try it. But apparently, this is stronger than I can handle.
I believe in you, my friend.
And I'm going to be one of those blaspheming people who uses a Zippo to light a cigar. I hope you don't mind.
Is that like a real Zippo? Was Zippo
Yeah.
fuel? Huh.
I didn't bring my Zippo.
Oh, Anthony's silently judging me right now. He's like, this dickhead.
Is that a thing that you guys do over there?
No, it's just, you know what it is, right? Like, a lot of people keep talking about how Zippos are gonna ruin the cigars. They're gonna do this and do that. I've tried them. I've tested them. It makes no difference. Makes no difference whatsoever. And I call bullshit on it.
I'm no lighter elitist by any means, but the Zippo does have like a distinctive smell to the fuel, which I don't know. I don't know. I may have never even tried it. I may just believe the myth and propagate it.
That's actually what I did. I used to just believe the myth and think, oh yeah, people say don't use a Zippo on a cigar, it'll ruin it. It has a particular flavor or whatever. So I just ran with it. And then I thought, nah man, I've got a nice Zippo. Let me see if he actually does something. So I've been trying it on loads of different cigars, and so far, I've used the standard Zippo fuel, like the actual Zippo fuel, not the Ron Seal or whatever crap else that is. It makes no difference. What is he called? Ron Seal? No, what's he called?
I don't know.
Ronson. Ronson? Ronson. That stuff, I haven't tried that, but I tried standard Zippo fuel, and it has made zero difference so far.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try it one of these days. I'll let you know.
I need to borrow a lighter.
There we go. Yeah, that's a bit sticky there. So
tell me about that first puff. How does it feel? Tell me about the experience of the smoke hitting the roof of your mouth.
It feels very light.
Does it?
Yeah. Like, I was expecting it to be really strong from the first. Maybe I've just kind of hyped it up in my head. But it's feeling a little light, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Good.
Like a comfortable kind of airy kind of smoke. It's not dense, but in a good way. It's cool when it hits the top.
It feels cold, yeah.
That's weird.
It's a very unique experience. Some people love it, some people might not like it, but it's worth a shot,
Oh, there's that pepper.
There it is. It'll come in. It'll creep in.
Now that's kicking in. Is it going back and forth on the thing?
It is sometimes. Oh, I see what you mean by the lightness. It's really... Thin sounds like a bad word.
It's like really airy, right? No? That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It tastes very familiar, like La Flor Dominicana. Like very, very... It's got some notes which are quite similar to the Andalusian Bull. It doesn't have the same...
As it should. Most of the tobacco that we use comes from our farm,
Yes.
And so there's definitely characteristics that are exclusive to LFD that you just don't get anywhere else, right?
I agree. And interestingly, the first ever cigar that I smoked wasn't up to me. It was my uncle gave me it. And I got lucky because the first ever cigar that I smoked was the Cohiba Bejica 52.
Okay.
I had no idea what it was. But I respected it. I just didn't know what it was. And then I called him up afterwards and I was like, what was that cigar? It was really good. It was amazing. And he told me what it was. And I was like, I don't know what any of those words mean. And he goes, just search it on Google. So I did. And I was like, it's a £150 cigar. What the fuck?
I was about to say, who the hell gives a $100 cigar to a first-time smoker?
His excuse was that's the only cigar he had to give. And I was like, I'm happy with that.
I want to know what he has that he doesn't give away then.
He smoked a 54.
Okay.
So he was like, you can't have the 54, you can have the 52. At the time, I was like, I don't know
what's the difference. I'm not too familiar with what the difference is.
Just slightly different in size. Blend apparently is very similar, but they're very, very similar in terms of like, to me, the way they taste. I find the 54 is really good, 52 is pretty good. But the second cigar I ever smoked was also the first cigar I ever bought for myself. And that was actually this cigar right here. The
No shit.
That was
really?
That was actually the first cigar I ever bought.
Wow, that's cool.
I know. And Honestly, I was just trying to go for like the big cigars. I didn't know anything about cigars, right? I was like, oh, that was big. Let me see what it's about.
Yeah.
And I smoked that and he fucking leathered me. I was like, oh, this is so strong. But yeah, I remember when I got it. I went to this place called the Sky Lounge in Leeds. Alex, you know where that is, right? Mm-hmm. I went there, top floor. They've got this balcony. You've got this incredible.
Is that in London?
No, in Leeds. In Leeds.
Leeds. Okay.
And I went up, lit the cigar. Took me ages to light the cigar. The fucking ages, because I didn't have like a jet lighter. I had one of them soft flames,
Right.
but I think I had a Bic. I think I had a Bic, you know, for real. I had a Bic and that cheap cutter that you get from like the retailers. They were like, here, have that. And I was trying to light it with that. Didn't work. So I used the matches and eventually got it lit with a match. Worked fine. And I first draw and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So La Flor Dominicana has actually been kind of quite close to me since the beginning of my cigar experimentation or exploration and discoveries and whatever. And yeah, I've been in love with that cigar ever since, but they're so difficult to get hold of.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I did not know that, and that makes me very happy to hear. You know, especially you being out across the pond and all. You know,
Yeah.
LFD isn't as significant out there as it is back here in the States or in this hemisphere. But yeah, the bull is we've never experienced anything like it. You know, it was like just this magic mix of it won #1 cigar of the year, but that, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean all that much. But it's every now and then you get a cigar that wins it, and then the general public, I guess, agrees, and then you get something that just becomes something else, you know. And we never imagined anything like this could happen with that cigar, and it's by far the most in demand product we've ever made. We were nowhere near keeping up with the demand on it. Like my vision on the Andalusian Bull is our goal is to make everybody equally unhappy with the amount that they get. And that's the best that we can do.
Thank
The
you
best
for
that we
that.
can do.
Yeah, because these are tough to get. Ricardo only recently got a bunch. He sends me a message and he goes, oh, by the way, I've sent all the retailers whatever bulls we had. So, you know, good luck trying to guess them. And I was like, I wonder if Leeds is them. So I quickly went in the store and they were there. And I was like, yes.
Nice.
Same evening, bought one, came home. This is last week. So after we had a conversation, I was in there, bought the cigar, came home, and I just spent like 3 hours smoking that cigar, playing Elden Ring. It was amazing. It was like one of the best things ever.
I really want to play that game, but I won't do it because then I'll lose 3 months of my life. I'll
Same.
not know what happened. That's why I stay away from that stuff.
Listen, if you play that on the PC, we're co-opted, man.
I'm not going to do it.
Oh no,
I
I'm
can't
gonna
do it
find
to
a way.
myself.
I'm gonna find a way to like just subliminally send you messages and shit. Like, you know, I'll send you like YouTube videos.
And
Yeah,
I
Cigar
remember
Rants,
some
Elden
years
Ring.
ago, I had to get my tonsils taken out, right? So I'm like out of commission for a week. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be home all day. I got nothing to do. So let me buy a video game, you know? And I don't really play a lot of video games, but like I don't do it because I get too addicted to them. And I bought Dark Souls, right? Which is from the makers of Elden Ring. And
You bought Dark Souls?
yeah, you know, so then like
Fuck.
the week goes by like this, and then like I'm just inventing other reasons now. Like, oh no, now you know, I mean, I'm just like looking for another surgery to get so I can keep playing this fucking game. I was so hooked on it. And then when I heard about Elden Ring, which was like George R. R. Martin, right,
Yeah.
with the Dark Souls guys, like I can't fucking touch this game. I'm not
Oh, you
getting
have
into
to.
this. I
Oh
can't
my
do
god,
it.
it's the best one so far. Easily. It's freaking incredible. Elden Ring with a cigar, nothing beats it, man.
I know, but I'll get fired. My girlfriend will leave me. Like, it'll be bad. It's really just not worth it.
Nepotism doesn't run that deep then, I guess.
You still have to work at LFD. You know, it doesn't matter what your last name is.
So tell me about LFD, man. You know, I've obviously done a little bit of research in terms of the company because I've been looking into Lito Gomez, your father, who's done so much for the cigar industry, and he produced my favorite ever New World cigar. it's huge, so I don't get to smoke it very often because it takes forever.
Sure.
But that's part of why I love the cigar, because it does take forever. So tell me and the audience a little about La Flor Dominicana, a little bit about the history, and also what you do at the company.
All right. So La Flor Dominicana started off. La Flor Dominicana should have never happened, right? La Flor Dominicana started off as this absurd idea that my father had. What is it now? Back in 1994, right?
Yeah.
It's the story is that my father's like this like mythical creature. He's pretty amazing. So he was born in Spain, right? He's about 2 years old. The family immigrates to Uruguay, little tiny country in South America, and he grows up in Uruguay. He eventually becomes a professional soccer player in Uruguay. About 18 years old, he was a pro there. Football, sorry. Yeah. It's a poor country.
It's football.
It's the game that's actually played at your feet.
But anyways, Uruguay's a poor country. They don't have money to play. They didn't even have money to pay like the really good players. So he wasn't a star, and he'd go try to get his checks. They never had money for him, so he gave up on that whole idea. He goes to Canada. He starts working in a restaurant as a dishwasher, and then a busboy, and then a waiter, and then he's a maitre d'. He kind of works his way up in restaurants. Yeah. That's where he cuts his teeth really working. He was there illegally. He gets deported, sent back to Uruguay. He goes to Buenos Aires, Argentina, sets up a little store where he sells like wine and cheese and stuff like that, right? And then eventually he makes his way to Miami, right? He gets to Miami. He opens a little liquor store, and then he has a nightclub right in North Miami Beach. And this is like the 80s, back when Miami was like the Wild West, Yeah. You got unbelievable stories from those days. But so he goes from nightlife, and then he opens a pawn shop called Lito's Cash. The pawn shop eventually leads to a jewelry store, right? Because he becomes a jeweler. Between the pawn shop and the jewelry store, he gets robbed a couple times, par for the course, right? But one day, he's at the jewelry store. Two guys come in with ski masks, machine guns. They tie him up to a chair in the back. They blindfold him. One guy holds a gun to his head. The other one clears the entire place out. Luckily, they didn't kill him. After they leave, that's when he decides he's done with this shit, right? No more jewelry, no more pawn shops. Nothing where he's going to get robbed anymore. He's able to recover some money through his insurance, which is what eventually becomes the investment into La Flor Dominicana, right? He gets this crazy idea. I mean, this is like 92, 93, 93.
Did he have anything to do with cigars at the time?
No.
Was he smoking them at all?
He was smoking them, right?
Okay.
So, but he didn't know any more about cigars than any smoker than you or anybody else, right? So, this is 93, like right before the cigar boom, right? The cigar boom hadn't happened yet, but I guess there was like kind of some movement in the water, and somehow this crazy idea gets into his head of doing this, right? And you got to have some perspective of the time, right? 93 wasn't like today, right? Today there's new brands every day, right? Which is a good thing. That means the industry is, people want to be a part of it. That's a good thing. But back then, if you weren't in it for generations, you didn't get in it. It didn't happen. Like nobody opened factories in 1993, right? So everybody told him it was an absurd idea. It was psychotic. It was a terrible idea not to do it. He was going to fail.
It's a crazy idea to go from a pawn shop to a freaking cigar brand,
right?
Even now.
And it's not that he went to a factory to contract a factory to make cigars for them. No. He went to open his own factory and had no idea how to make cigars, right? It's really an absurd idea. But my father's a very hard-headed person. He's extremely hard-headed. He's like, he didn't finish high school. He doesn't have a formal education, but he's like very street smart, and like he's got this tenacity. It's just like this kick the door down head first. I'm gonna pull it off one way or another type deal. That's how he is. It's fascinating,
Yeah.
So he goes down to DR and he opens a factory, and he has no idea what he's doing. It's a total disaster. The first 20,000 cigars he makes, he had to tear up. He shredded them, threw them in a dumpster, and it's the first $20. That's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money lost already. But that was I like to think of that as one of the most important moments in the history of the company, because that's when he decided, what is La Flor Dominicana going to be?
Yeah.
Right?
What was it called? Was it called something different at that time, or was it La Flor Dominicana?
It was called Los Libertadores in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? In 1994. In 1996, it changed to La Flor Dominicana.
Yeah.
But so yeah, a lot of trial and error, man. A lot of trial and error. A lot of, you have to figure it out. And then it's a mix of, all right, you have the tenacity to do it, and the timing was also great, because then the cigar boom kicks in, right? And all the big brands have far more demand than they can meet. So a small unknown brand like ours gets a shot, right? Retailers will bring you in, right? Because they need cigars.
Yes.
And then it's kind of history from there, right? A couple years later, he bought a plot of land and we started farming our own tobacco. Again, he knew nothing about farming, but he learned it. And it was a mix of having this high standard for what we're gonna do, sticking to it, and controlling the entire process behind what we do. And that's the reason La Flor Dominicana made it. Otherwise, it didn't make any sense. There's none of the factories that opened during the cigar boom in Dominican Republic are still there. Only La Flor.
So it's kind of like, your father's complete hard-headedness and just stubbornness. I'm not going to fail. This is gonna work, and that's it. And he just kind
that's
of
what it is, man.
dragged it into the modern day and said, "Yeah, you are definitely gonna work." That's pretty incredible.
That's the story.
I didn't know that he had a pawn shop and he kind of and all those terrible things happened. But I mean, wow, he got deported from Canada.
Yeah.
That's a hard place to get deported from.
I know. Who gets deported from Canada?
This is like the 70s, though. It's different.
It's Canada. I gotta tell you though, this cigar might replace the Andalusian Bull.
Beautiful.
You like it that much?
It's fucking amazing.
All right.
No, seriously, this might replace the Andalusian Bull, and I love that cigar. It's also less expensive as well.
A little bit.
No, this is wow. Man, you guys should lead with this one. Fuck the Bull. This is amazing.
One of our most popular cigars.
Yeah, I guess so. No, this is lovely.
I'm really liking the chisel. I didn't know whether that would be a gimmick or not, but it's quite good. Like,
I know.
Yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of things are gimmicks, but sometimes gimmicks work, right? But it was something different. The chisel's actually the only patented cigar shape in the world. I don't know if you knew that.
Really? I had no idea.
It's an LFD invention. Only LFD makes them.
How'd you get the mold or the press? Like, how'd you even...
Andre got in there first, by the way, with the patented.
Oh, did he? So how'd you like for the Andalusian Bull, you got an old mold from Spain?
So no, it's a funny story, right? So my father was in Belgium, and he was doing some events, riding around with our distributor there. He takes an afternoon to go visit Fred from J. Cortez.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys know Fred.
I don't know him personally, but I've heard of him.
Yeah, one of the best guys you'll ever meet in your life. He's like one of my favorite people in the world. He's a crazy Belgian guy. He's awesome. Him and his father, they're awesome. But anyway, so good friends of ours. My dad takes the afternoon off to go visit Jay Cortez, spend an afternoon with Fred. He's in Fred's office, and then at one point Fred has to go take care of something, so he steps out, leaves my dad alone in the office. Naturally, he starts snooping around a little bit.
Naturally.
And, he sees this old wooden cigar mold, right, with that shape. And so, he snaps a picture of it and he sends it over to me. And, we both agree that it's a cool fucking shape. Let's recreate it. Let's do something with it. So, I'm looking at the shape and it reminds me of something powerful, something like a bull, right? And then I the train of thought kind of goes from there, and eventually I land on Andalusian Bull. It had a ring to it.
The cigar.
Oh, I've named a few cigars, right?
No, but you named this specific one. I mean,
Yeah, I did.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
you've named a lot of cigars, but I'm talking about this particular one. You actually named
I
it as
did.
well. Okay.
I did. Yeah, I named the cigar. I did the packaging. You know, I did the design, all that stuff.
Wow.
Um,
I mean, it's
and
a
then my
beautiful
father and I-
cigar. I don't know if a lot of our audience has smoked the Andalusian Bull. I know Andres definitely smoked this. He smoked plenty of them. But, I mean, this is a stunning, stunning cigar. The band, you've got a double band, but the little band kind of tucks in, so it looks like a single band from the front. And the design is just stunning.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, this is and it's a heavy packed cigar as well. One thing that
yeah.
annoys me about some cigars is they underfill them, and it pisses me off when they do that. But this one has never been underfilled. It's always, I mean, even when you look at the foot, I don't know, is that in focus, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even when you look at the foot, that's packed like properly. That's fucking, oh.
Anyway, you got to give people their money's worth, right? You got to give them what they paid for.
So that cigar, number one cigar of 2016, and since then, so many people have been after that one particular Vitola, one particular cigar. You've only made 2 other Vitolas with the Bull.
Not for
Not for common,
for
not for
regular
like
production or for sale.
yeah.
We have for like special auctions and things
You've
like
got
that.
a
Yeah.
Petit Corona.
So it's a Lonsdale, which is this one.
But that is a Petit Corona, right?
I think technically it's a Lonsdale, and it's longer than a Petit Corona would be.
Oh, not the one you're smoking, but I thought there was another one.
There was a Toro,
Okay.
right? That we made a small special edition for Jack Schwartz, a retailer in Chicago, for their
Yeah.
100th anniversary.
And now you've made a
And
Lonsdale.
then we made a Lonsdale. right?
Okay, so I've clearly, right, so I think Ricardo or someone told me about a Petit Corona Andalusian Bull that he smoked, and I was like,
No.
okay, clearly, I must have misheard then.
If Ricardo's probably talking about this one.
He told me he definitely smoked that
Because
one.
he was in Dominican Republic like a couple months ago. We were smoking.
Yeah, I know you guys were hanging
That's what he's
out.
talking about. Yeah.
So he was lucky enough to smoke one of those, man. I'm gonna put you
Yeah.
on the spot, man. Is there any chance we could smoke some of those?
Yeah, of course. Everybody in the world's gonna have a chance.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh.
Here's the thing about this cigar. You can try it, but you got to find me, or I got to be there, and I will happily give you one.
Okay,
you
fair
can't
enough.
you can't just send cigars out there. Right? Who knows? You got to pay like ungodly amounts of money and taxes and this and that, and it's not registered. And
Yeah, tell us about it.
Oh man, the tax is over here. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that part right now. But yeah, the Lonsdale. So personally, in my experience, I think that long, thinner cigars tend to taste better. Just my opinion, just my experience. Lancero's best Vitola, in my opinion. It just works for me. Flavors are just incredible. A little bit stronger generally as well, depending on the blend. And it just tastes nicer. So compared to the standard Andalusian Bull, what's the difference with this particular cigar? I mean, obviously the blend is going to be slightly different, because if you're going to change the Vitola, you're going to have to somehow fit in all of those leaves into a thinner ring gauge. So what have you done to kind of, how similar is it? How different is it? What's it like?
Sure. Well, yeah, I agree. I think this is the most beautiful cigar size. I think this is the perfect cigar size. The blend is the same, right? So when you're blending, from a larger size to a smaller one, you try to keep the proportions the same. You lessen the amount, obviously, and you try to keep it proportional. You're going to find a lot of very similar flavors, right? But the original Bull, since it starts with like that bulb, right?
Yes.
And it starts a little smaller, and it starts to open up, and then it starts to taper back down, right? So in the beginning, it's a little bit on the milder side, and then it starts to build as you go down, and it gets a little stronger and more concentrated. This will be more similar to that final third of the bowl where it's kind of more concentrated towards the end, kind of all the way through, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a strong cigar.
It's strong. I don't think it's too strong. It's not. I mean, I like strong
For
cigars,
you,
but
maybe.
I don't think it's overpowering, though.
I'm going to be on the floor.
Hey, if you can handle that, I think you'll be all right, man.
This is easy. Well, I'm saying that I've only gone in like an inch into the cigar.
Yeah,
This
let's
is easy
hold judgment on that one for now.
Yeah, I think halfway point, I'm going to be like, Anthony, listen, can we stop this live stream, man?
Hey, any self-respecting cigar smoker should have a story about when a chisel put them on their ass, right? Everybody should have one.
So with this cigar, you had an auction a little while ago. Is that correct? And
yeah, we made
did really well.
Yeah, we made a humidor for Pro Cigar. The last night of Pro Cigar, which is the gala night, we always kind of create things and auction them off for charity. And so we made a 100 count humidor that was like shaped like a gold brick. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's on the thumbnail, man.
There you go. But so yeah, we made a 100 count humidor with 100 of these in it.
Yeah.
And it ended up going for like $32,000, which was the highest. It was the most expensive item of the night, which we were very happy about.
That's amazing news. And then since then, you've kind of thought, I guess you've taken the same cigar, and now you've decided to make an NFT for it.
Sure. This NFT idea happened.
How did that happen?
A year and a half. It's been a year and a half in the works, and it's been like, dude, it's been a stressful year and a half because I've had to keep this a secret. This has been like the most tightly kept secret I've ever had in my life, and it's been like sleepless nights just hoping nobody else would do it before me. I feel like any morning I wake up and read news where like somebody else did it already. Like fuck, But luckily, it took a long time, but we ended up being the first.
Yeah.
But I was home. I was home smoking this cigar, which I had been making for myself, for a while, since like sometime in 2019. I just started making this cigar for myself because I love the bold blend. I just don't like really big cigars. I wanted to make that blend in the size, and like I said, my favorite size. So I was making it for myself, and we just hand them out to friends and colleagues here and there. I always figured I would do something with it. I didn't know what, but I wanted to do something special with it. And I was just waiting for the idea to come. And one day I was home, and I think I was on Reddit or just reading, like I tend to do. And this is when like the whole like when people started selling these NFTs for tens of millions, and like one of them went for $70 million.
Crazy.
And I'm like, what the fuck is an NFT? What is this? So I started doing my research, and I say, well, how do I get in on this? I want to get in on this, but like I'm not a famous artist or anything like that.
Technically, you are.
I don't. No, I'm not people, But so I'm smoking the cigar. I'm looking at the cigar. I'm like, this could be an NFT. Why can't this be an NFT? Like, why does it? NFT doesn't have to be just a picture, right? I mean, I could attach it to something, and so that's when the idea started. And then I started, getting into Discords and finding people to talk to about how to pull this off, because I don't know any of the technicals of it,
But that's the key difference, isn't it? Because was it Atabi that produced their first cigar NFT?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Atabi produced that first ever cigar NFT, and it is literally just a picture.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy this picture, and I mean, I'm not against picture-based NFTs that or a GIF or something like that. I'm not against it because I understand that it's like baseball cards, right?
Sure.
Why do baseball cards cost so much money? Why do Pokemon cost so much
Right.
money? People want to spend that because they consider it to be rare, and it's like we have this kind of nostalgia or something that we want, so we'll buy them. So on that basis, I was fine with most NFTs, but when Atabi came up with that, I was like, I want to smoke a cigar. I don't want to look at a cigar. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck am I going to do with a picture of a cigar and a cigar humidor? They haven't even produced it. And that was the biggest criticism. Everyone said, you haven't even made a cigar. You've just kind of made a picture of it.
Right.
and we're going to look at it. And I guess
Right.
you've gone that extra step where you've not
I-
only produced an NFT, but you've actually backed it up with something. And these are now being called NFT with utility,
Right.
or NFT with substance,
So-
or NFT with backed up NFTs. So that's the
Right.
key difference.
That's the difference. And I remember because when those NFTs came out, I was already months into this project, you know, and then I read this story, I think it was on Half Wheel, that, you know, they released the first cigar NFT and my heart dropped.
Yeah,
You know,
I can imagine.
dude, I almost cried, man. But then, you know, and I read, you know, it was a picture-based NFT. So I said, okay, you know, that's fine. Okay, well, we're doing it still very different. So it's okay. But yeah, at the end of the day, value is a totally arbitrary thing, right? Things
Yeah.
are worth what people say they're worth and are willing to pay for them, right? I'm not a big fan of picture and art-based NFTs. I don't know, man. If I can screenshot it and then it's the same on my phone and your phone, then I don't know. But I'm the idiot, right? I haven't made millions of dollars on this stuff, right? So what do I know? It just
Same
seems
here,
kind of
man.
silly to me. You know, whatever. But I think NFTs will evolve into things that make more sense. You
Yeah.
know, types of physical products, or like for music or ticketing. It's going to evolve in a lot of different ways. I think some of the art-based stuff will hold value, like the originals, like the CryptoPunks or maybe Beeples, whatever. A lot of this stuff, I think, is a bubble.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? But I like the idea of NFTs that are tied to something with real value, right?
So basically, with your particular cigar and the NFT, essentially the NFT is like a tag or a marker to say this person owns this, so they can purchase this particular cigar.
Right.
It's kind of like that humidor that Padron made. Was it Padron?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
Padron made that
Yeah,
humidor, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
They made that humidor, and if you purchase the humidor, you get a number of cigars, but then
Right.
only you can get refills for that cigar. So if you want,
Correct.
if you want more of those cigars, you can, and every year you can buy a set amount of cigars to refill the
Correct.
humidor. So it's basically virtually identical in terms of the premise to that,
Right.
but you've got an NFT attached to it, which
Exactly.
I think is quite cool because there's more potential income on both sides. Whoever buys it has the potential to make more money from it. If they're happy, like if they get 500 cigars in a year from how many cigars? You get 70 a month.
Right.
Yeah, so 70 a month. Let's say how much is 70 in a year? My maths is terrible.
840.
840? No. Yeah, 840, isn't it? Yeah.
The guy that sells them probably knows.
Yeah, 840. So you could get 840. So let's say someone's got 840 cigars from you. After that, they're like, okay, I'm done. I don't need any more. And they could just effectively sell the NFT on.
Sure. And theoretically, the NFT can increase in value, right? I mean, there's no guarantees of it. But it's an asset. An asset that you can trade.
Because there's something attached to it. It's not
Right.
just. So what is attached to it? How does it work? So I mean, I've read the articles, but I just want, a little bit of clarity in terms of how it works. What do you get with it? What's the NFT? How does it work?
Right. So the NFT, I mean, do you want me to break down what an NFT is?
No.
Okay. So the NFT, we're gonna have an auction site, an auction platform set up where you'll be able to connect your crypto wallet and then place bids on it. Right. We're gonna make 7 total. We're gonna auction them one at a time, and like we were saying, if you own the NFT, you will have the right to purchase 70 of these cigars per month for as long as you own the NFT, right? Now, the perk of being an original buyer, if you're one of the original buyers of the NFT, you're also going to get a 50 count humidor, a smaller version of the one we were talking about that we auctioned at Pro Cigar.
Yeah.
We're calling it the golden Bouillon humidor. It's going to have 50 cigars. It's going to same shape, the gold brick shape. It's actually going to have an actual 18 karat gold inlay for the logo, the LFD logo. It's going to be made of actual gold.
So this is
And it'll
going to
have
be
50 cigars
expensive
inside.
as hell.
We'll see, man.
Alex, you and I, this is out of our price range, man. What are we talking here, man? What numbers are we talking?
I don't know.
Oh, you're not going to tell us?
Well, no, but we don't know what people are going to be willing to pay for this, right? It's going to be an auction, so I don't know what it's going to go for.
Do you have like a baseline set price on it, and then it goes up from there?
Yeah, we'll start with a minimum and then take it from there. I mean, the only thing that I have to gauge anything on is that one humidor we auctioned off at Pro Cigar, right?
Yeah.
Which went for $32,000, and that's just 100 cigars, right? So, but the NFT gives you a little more than that. But that's the only way we have to gauge anything, right?
Can we go for a raffle instead? Cheaper entry point.
Yeah, Anthony's like, fuck off, mate. No.
No.
Damn. Can I get an NFT?
So that's the idea. That's the idea. Can you get one?
Yeah. Can I get an NFT?
You could try.
Just email it to
Everybody
me, man.
can try.
It's going to start off at like 10 Ethereum. I'm like, nah, fuck that.
I'll do a review.
I'll do a review on it.
So yeah, but then after that, we're gonna have a website where you can log on, and there will be a method where you can prove ownership of the NFT and place your order for the cigars.
So why NFTs though? I mean, you could have done something similar to what Padron did with the Humidor.
Sure.
Why NFTs in particular?
Why not, man? You know, why not try something totally different, something totally new? I think it's perfectly in line with who we are as a brand. We've always been innovative. We've always been different. You know, my father's a first generation guy. We had no family history in this, so you know that's what I love about our brand. You know, more than anything, if I were just a consumer, this is what I would appreciate about LFD is that we've never tried to be the classics, right? You know, you have your Davidoff, you got your the Cubans, Fuente, Padron. These are kind of like the classic. Awesome brands, everything, but you see so many new brands trying to recreate them, and if you're not them, you're not going to be them. You have to make your own identity. You have to be different, and that's what LFD's always been. We didn't have to follow my grandfather's way of doing things or my great grandfather's way of doing things. We created our own vibe, man, and so we've always made it a point to be unique, to be creative, innovative. And I think this just falls perfectly in line with who we are as a company, And I just love the idea, man. I thought this could be something special. I wanted to do something special, And a lot of people are upset by it,
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Listen, as soon as you put NFT in a title or anywhere, a lot of people are gonna get angry.
People get upset.
So
yeah,
did you factor that in? Did you think, oh shit, this might, we might just be pissing people off, or?
I fully expected people to be upset, and I was totally prepared for it. It's fine. Listen, man, we make like 130 SKUs. It's just one. All the others will be available just like always. High quality, fairly priced products. Nothing changes. Yeah, it's one thing. We're trying something. We're trying to do something that's never been done. We're trying to be innovative, man. And if you hate on people for that, then I mean, what can I tell you, man? It is what it is.
Are you saying the internet jumps down your throat about one tiny thing? Never.
It's a funny place, the internet, huh? But a lot of people are also very supportive and said that they love the idea. So it's a very mixed reaction.
I'm going to be honest with you. As soon as I saw it, my immediate reaction was positive because it was made very clear from the beginning that this isn't just, you're not just buying like a picture of a cigar. Because if you did that, I'm going to be honest with you, I'd be like, okay, LFD's gone that way as well. What the fuck? Right. This is some bullshit. Right. But you didn't. You made a cigar or you've been making a cigar. The cigar went for a ridiculous price. And you thought, okay, more people want this. We don't want to put it in standard production because it probably costs too much anyway. So what if we make something special and do something about it? and you attached it to this NFT. And that, I think, is the key thing, because as you said, the NFT industry, bit of a bubble at the moment, because we've got loads of creators out there who are producing just pictures and GIFs and whatever, and people are just buying it up. You know, remember the internet bubble?
Sure.
.com.
Right?
Tulip Mania.
.com bubble, sorry. Yeah. When the .com bubble happened, everyone was buying any stocks and shares in any company which had a website or some online presence. And they were just being crazy about the kind of stocks and shares they were buying for whatever company. They weren't looking at the actual value behind the company. They were just thinking, oh, it's got a website, we've got to buy it. And that's what kind of happened or is happening with the NFTs, where people are just going crazy, just buying whatever NFTs that they possibly can. And I think, I mean, I don't know when, because no one really knows when it's going to happen, but that bubble's going to pop. And what's going to be left are, in my opinion, NFTs with utility. So if your NFT does something, if it has something attached to it, if it's not just, oh, this is a picture, then I think that's going to stick around. I think that's going to do something. And I mean, I hate using this word because it's a terrible word. The metaverse.
I hate it too.
But you know what? There's some traction behind this. There's been some traction behind it.
There is. I think the metaverse might be, it might be too soon for it. You know, I think it is. It's inevitable. I think honestly, inevitable. On a long enough timeline, the Matrix will end up being a prophecy. You know, like, on a long enough timeline, everybody's going to live in virtual reality, right? Because it'll be better than actual reality. We're not there yet. We're very far from it. I think it's inevitable. I don't get the whole Zuckerberg metaverse. I don't know if that's going to be. I might be wrong. What do I know? I think it's too soon still for that. I don't think we're ready for that. I don't think the technology is there yet. You know, but we'll see. We'll see.
But that could be, as you said, you know, that's going to be the long term.
But if there's a metaverse and you buy this NFT, you're going to have virtual cigars to smoke. We'll figure that one out.
Fuck that. Listen, I'm out
It'll
already.
come with virtual cigars as well.
LFD is going to be the first company. Yeah, LFD first. They're going to be the first company that makes the virtual cigar. Oh, damn.
Why not?
Do you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised. I'm like, I'd just be on half wheel. Anthony has made the first virtual cigar. I'm like, yeah, of course he was going to do it. So this particular cigar.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. You were going to say something.
No, but I just wanted to make a final point about it that we're not trying to scam people. You know, people hear NFT, they think scam. We're being totally transparent about what this is, what you're getting, and the people who bid on it will decide what that's worth to them. There's no scam here. There's no bullshit. You know, it's real. And you know, we're a company that's been around for close to 30 years now, and you know, we've built trust in the market. We've got a good name, and you know, we're not trying to scam people, man. You know, it's all there. It's all laid out.
At least it's not a Kickstarter project, right?
Right.
Oh, if you did a Kickstarter project, fuck. We're going to start a Kickstarter project to kick off an NFT. That would get oh my God, that would be the best one.
Dude,
how to piss off everyone collectively. You're not starting a Kickstarter, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I just thought, just in case I've got my foot in my mouth there. I just thought, oh, by the way.
No.
The next cigar. So this NFT.
If we lose money on a stupid idea, it's going to be our money. You know?
That's fair. I think that's fair. Because as you said, you're going to put it up for bids. If no one bids on it, I doubt that no one's going to bid. I think this is going to be quite popular. You've already seen it in action in an auction. It's already made a ton of money. I mean, some could argue that there was a charitable aspect to it. So does that concern you at all? Because more people tend to bid more when it comes to a charity, right? So
sure. At the end of the day, people bid for things that they want. You know, maybe it's a little more motivation if it's charity. But I mean, it's business. It's a product. People buy our products. You know, we're a business just like any other, right? This is just another way of doing business.
That's very true. We're coming to like a halfway point. Do we have any questions at the moment, Alex?
Yeah, Andre had one.
Okay, go on.
Here's a fun question. Oh, hold on. There we go. Oh, there we go. You can see me read it. Here's a fun question. If you get the NFT, do you still have to pay for the tobacco taxes or registration fees for the cigars?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
That's a good question. I assume so. For example, like if it's going to the UK, just because it's an NFT or anything, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to circumvent whatever the laws are in your country, right? So, whatever it is that needs to be paid will need to be paid. Yeah.
When it comes to like cigars and different countries, I guess you have to register certain things. But then if you're importing as a private individual, you don't need to register any of the cigars, do you? Because I can buy cigars from the US. I can have them shipped over, even if they're not sold here.
Okay.
I can have them shipped over. I got to pay import tax. I got to pay the VAT. But then after that's been covered, that's my cigar.
Okay.
I can just smoke it.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's probably the
Might
case.
depend where you live.
Yeah, it might depend on where you live.
Those are finer details that will need to be figured out. I mean, that's all going to be in the disclosures and the fine print that, in whatever country you're in. I mean, this is all has to be done legally, we're not,
Of course.
we're not trying to get in trouble with anybody,
But from your perspective, that's not your responsibility because you don't control the customs of other nations.
Right.
So, also, where are the cigars being shipped from? So, let's say I bought the Humidor. I mean, in the highly unlikely instance that I managed to come to hold of one of the NFTs, and I've got this Humidor in my house, and I want to refill the cigars. So I go online, log in, order X amount of cigars. How long does it take? Where am I getting it from? What are the logistics?
Well, it'll all depend on where the NFTs end up, right? So if most of them end up in the United States, we'll just end up sending all those cigars to our office in Miami, and then it'll make it easier to just ship them from there to wherever they're going. If it's internationally, then it'll probably make more sense to ship them directly from the factory, or maybe we end up shipping it all from Miami. But those are finer details that we'll figure out. It won't be a problem. It's not a lot of cigars, so we're gonna have probably a couple years worth of them made already, just sitting there ready to go. So they'll just be aging as time goes, and so that's not gonna be a problem. They'll be ready to go every month.
You already pre-age your tobacco, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So you already pre-age your tobacco. When they're aging, how does that change? How do the Andalusian bulls change over time?
Any cigar improves with time, right? I mean, our philosophy is that when the cigar leaves the factory, it is ready to smoke. It is a good fucking cigar and it's ready to smoke. If you decide to age it further, that's up to you. Some people like to do that, right? They like to keep these stashes of aged things and smoke them in a year or 2 years. That's all personal choice. But yeah, cigars always evolve a little bit and they change and maybe they smooth out a little bit. And
in your opinion, how do the
ways.
Andalusian bulls change? You must have some old stock of Andalusian bulls, the big ones, the Lonsdale or the Toros. Yeah. What's your experience been?
They definitely smooth out a little over time and become a little more creamy, I would say. A little bit of the pepper starts to wear off and becomes more of it starts to have like a creamier finish to it.
So are these, the Lonsdale, are they going to be aged after they've been rolled for a period of time, or are you going to basically, so how long are you going to be aging them after the rolled process?
So like any one of our cigars, right? I mean, from seed to cigar, we're talking about a 3-year process between the growing, the curing, the fermentation, the aging of the tobacco, the aging of the cigars, etc. They're going through all the same protocols that all of our cigars go through. And but like I said, since we're making we've already got a good stash of them already made. We're making more, but we're going to have about 2 years worth made by the end of this month. So, the cigars you order 2 years from now, if you're an NFT owner, are going to have a good 2 years of age on them. So, but we'll keep making more and kind of, we'll keep that line going, right?
But you're not going to charge extra for the 2 years aged?
No.
Because they've already paid a shit ton of money at the front end anyway.
we're not gonna price gouge on the cigars. You know, I don't have a final price for the cigars yet, but I'm not gonna charge a ridiculous amount of money for the cigars, considering the NFT might already be a pretty significant investment. You know.
So what are the estimates that you're going for? Can you give any figures at all, or any numbers, or any ballparks?
I don't know, man. I don't want to. I don't want to.
I'm pushing here.
We'll
I'm
see what
pushing.
happens.
He is really
Listen,
adamant
man,
for this
on-
number, isn't he?
On auction day, I might end up looking like a genius, or it might end up looking like an absolute idiot. I have no idea. Both are entirely possible. We'll see what happens.
I'm feeling.
I've been contacted, emailed, etc., by some very interesting individuals already over the last couple of weeks who are interested in it, and I feel good, man. There's definitely interest in it.
Oh, I'm definitely feeling positive about this. I think that this is going to be something that's going to be highly successful for La Flor Dominicana. In fact, I think it's going to be really difficult for you to fuck this one up. Because this is like, I think you've done enough research in terms of the market of the demand for this one. You've got the Andalusian Bull, which was #1 cigar of the year. It's already really difficult to get hold of. So it's definitely a in-demand cigar. It's priced much lower. So it's priced at a point where, regular people can afford it.
Right.
In the UK, they're about £30, £35 each. In the US, how much do they retail in the US?
Base retail in the U.S. is about $17. That's before state taxes, right? So if you're in Florida where there's no state cigar tax, you're $17.
Wow. We need to go to Florida, Alex.
Yeah.
We need to go to Florida. Okay, so $17. That's mighty far away from the Lonsdale. That's a big, big difference. But would you say that the Lonsdale is significantly better in terms of a cigar? The Vitola in my experience, the Vitola makes a big difference.
Sure. I can only say personally, right? Because the cigars are entirely subjective. This is my favorite cigar in the world. I love this cigar. I almost don't even want to smoke anything else. Anytime I light up anything else, this is great, but I always have one of these like in the corner of my eye. Like I just want to smoke one of those, It's my favorite cigar in the world. I think it's the perfect size, the perfect blend. That's all I can say, right? But some people might not like Lonsdales, right? They might prefer the original Bull, and they're not wrong either. It's fine. It's all subjective, but I love it.
I got to tell you though, I shouldn't have smoked this cigar because this is amazing. It's kind of put a bit of a dampener on the Bull for me. I'm sorry, man. This is really fucking good.
That's all right, man. As long as you're smoking an LFD, I'm happy.
No, I'm surprised.
I'd rather you not smoke the Bulls. We can't make enough as it is, right? So smoke something else. It's even better for us.
I guess so. You know what? I'm not even disappointed. I'm like, wow. I'm glad we picked this cigar for the live stream, because we could have smoked the Andalusian Bull, but I've smoked a lot of them. I've literally smoked boxes of them. They're too difficult to get hold of now, but these are easy to get hold of. Alex, how are you finding this cigar? Oh damn, you're already to the band.
Yeah, I'm actually smoking mine.
I'm smoking mine.
Hey, and let's give a shout out to Ricardo and Scott over at Tor Imports, our distributors out there in the UK. They're awesome people. I love them. They do a great job, and they were able to help you get these cigars at very short notice.
Ricardo's lovely.
Yeah.
We did a video with Ricardo as well, talking about his history and how he came into the cigar industry, and how he went from the junior ambassador to the COO of Tor Imports. He's a COO now. Yeah. He's a COO. No, he's lovely. He
just said goodbye.
Sorry?
He just said goodbye.
Oh, you just said goodbye?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We also had John and Scott.
They got tired of us swearing.
Yeah. Us. You.
It's how I talk.
Probably mainly me.
I don't give a fuck.
There you go. A couple of F-bombs never hurt anyone.
They say swearing is very closely linked to intelligence. So
I call bullshit on
I'll take
but you know,
No, I'll take it.
I'll take it, but I know it's bullshit.
So we had a slightly offbeat question from Omid Namadi in Iran.
All the way from Iran, damn.
All the way from Iran.
Very
Nice.
cool.
Is that as far as America? I don't know. I know this is unrelated, but I'd really love to know you guys' opinion. How hard do you think building a culture of smoking cigars is in a country like Iran? Oh, he said Iran in the first time. That almost nobody smokes cigars in.
That's a good question. That's a very, very interesting question. I would assume there is some kind of smoking culture in Iran, though. I mean, whether it be cigarettes or
They had one
I don't
LCDH and
know.
it's closed down in 2017.
What's that?
They had one LCDH and it's closed down in 2017.
Huh. That's a very interesting question. I would imagine it's difficult, and it also depends on I don't know what the taxes might be in Iran, or like how expensive cigars end up being if you import them there, because in a lot of countries with their tax situation, cigars become very much a rich people only thing, right? Whereas, you know, for example, like we were saying in the States, like in Florida, you could buy a really good cigar for $6-7, right? You don't have to spend $30-50, right? But you go up to Canada, you go up to certain places, like you can't buy a good cigar for less than $15. Like the Andalusian Bull in Canada, it sells for like $75. It's insane.
What the?
Right? Fuck? Yeah. In Canada, the retail price of a cigar ends up being 11 times the wholesale price, right? It's crazy, man. It's nuts. But so it depends on that in Iran, how expensive cigars end up being, and the economic situation of the country as a whole. I can't speak to it. I don't know if the country's doing well economically right now. There's always a small group of people that will be able to afford anything in any country, right? So probably not difficult to start some kind of culture within that group. To spread it further depends on a lot of variables.
So just reading further into his comment, sorry, he had left a second one. He's thinking about starting a lounge. There's so few smokers, which is why the LCDH closed, but there's apparently no shortage of people who can afford cigars.
Sure.
I mean, Usman, we've seen the cigar scene in Leeds grow, right? Or at least the visible amount of cigar scene in Leeds grow.
So,
and I think a lot of that is to do with a lounge opening, right?
yeah, I mean, so
If you build it, they will come.
the town that we live in, or the city that we live in, is Leeds. Well, we live near Leeds. Alex lives in Leeds. I live a small town outside of Leeds. For years,
Which will remain nameless.
we had this small store which used to sell a certain number of cigars, Andalusian Bull as well, and it did really well. But then the owner just got tired of. He wanted to retire. He's quite an elderly man, and he was like, I'm done with it. We're just going to do everything online. I'm going to close down the store, and then we're just going to do everything online. So for about 4 years, for about 4 years, we had no cigars, no cigar stores, reasonable cigar stores in like a wide vicinity, and Leeds, relatively large-ish city, good amount of population, a lot of people coming through. There's an airport nearby as well, so a lot of people come through the city, and you've got no cigar store. And then Mitchell, I'd been nagging him for years. Mitchell Orchant, who owns Cigars, so
I know.
I've been nagging this guy for years. Ray was nagging him for years. I think Alex mentioned it a few times. A whole bunch of people have been basically just telling him, look, we need to open up a store in Leeds. And he finally opened up a store, and he hit the ground running. Like, it was one of the few stores that immediately did well. Normally, based on some of the conversations that I've had, cigar stores generally take a little bit of time. You'll have a little bit of a dip, and then it kind of slowly grows depending on how you promote, depending on how you market, and so on and so forth. And also depends on what kind of store you have. Now, the beauty of this Leeds store is that there is a lounge there. So because there's a sampling lounge, you could buy a cigar there, you can go upstairs, You can sit back, you can enjoy cigars, and it's really comfortable. And that, I think, has made the biggest difference in
Absolutely.
determining whether this store is going to be successful. So with Iran,
Absolutely.
if you're planning on opening up a lounge, I think that lounge element is probably going to be the biggest factor.
Oh,
in
100%. It has to be a lounge. And look at it this way. Back in the 90s, right? You remember you could smoke in restaurants, you could smoke on airplanes, like you could go smoke. It's crazy to think about now, but you could smoke everywhere, right? So
You can smoke
and
on a
I'll
fucking airplane.
I know.
that's insanity, right? But so I'll use the United States as an example. Back in those days, cigar shops were always like just little kiosks. You go in, you get your cigar, you leave, you go smoke wherever it is that you smoke, right? But then they start banning smoking everywhere, right? And pretty soon there's like nowhere left to smoke really, right? So the cigar shops, well, they put a couch, right? And they noticed the couch filled up pretty quick, so they bought the place next door. They expanded. They put 2 couches. They started growing. And, to the point where they became real lounges and you could have, 15, 20 people hanging out there. And what happened was that these smoking bans that were designed to hurt our industry actually helped our industry in unimaginable ways at the time, right? Because it created a culture.
Yes.
Created a culture, the cigar lounge culture, which was the biggest thing that could ever happen to our industry, right? Because now it's more than just cigars. Now it's, people go to the lounge and like, that's their social circle. Those are their friends. They're networking. Right? You need a lawyer. Well, there's a lawyer. You need a car. Well, this guy has got a dealership. They start working together, and it ended up being the best possible thing for the cigar industry that you couldn't smoke anywhere, right? So the lounge is totally essential. But what I'll tell the gentleman in Iran, this is going to be the challenge for him, is figuring out where he's going to get his cigars from, right? Because he could set up accounts with a bunch of individual brands, but those shipping costs are going to be a challenge, right? And he's not going to be able to order as much as a distributor that sells to many stores will be able to order, right? If he's ordering for one store, those shipping costs are going to be very tough. So maybe he's going to have to try to find a source closer to Iran, maybe a distributor in a different country that could sell to him, That's going to be a challenge there. But there's a will, there's a way. And I'm sure that if you put a lounge in Iran, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah. So essentially, the answer to the question of how do you build a culture around cigars is you build a lounge, because that in itself helps develop that culture. And even in the lead store, whenever we go there, we've got regular people there. We hang out. I've met new people. We've become friends. We'll go out and have meals together afterwards. And these are people I've never met before. We've literally met in the lounge. We smoke cigars. We'll talk about the kind of cigars that we enjoy. And what I've noticed is in the cigar industry, the vibe is quite friendly. Where, let's say, Iyason, for example, there's a guy who frequents the lounge. His name's Iyason, and he enjoys cigars that are quite a bit different from the cigars that I enjoy. But there's not like, oh, you're wrong for liking this cigar, or you're weird for not liking this cigar. It's like, if you dislike a cigar, you're like, oh, okay, well, you didn't like it. Great, I like it. Yeah. And I love that about the cigar industry, where no one that I've met so far has been judgmental about me disliking something or me liking something. It's just like, yeah, okay, great. You like
and
that.
And they shouldn't be, man. A cigar is subjective. There's nobody's right and nobody's wrong. The beauty of cigars is that it brings people together like nothing else, man. It really does. You go to cigar lounge, you have people from all walks of life, all races, all religions, all everything. And if you're all in the cigar lounge having a cigar, everybody's cool with each other, man. And all these like problems that this bullshit and all this anger that there is in the world right now, you never see it in a cigar shop, right?
I haven't.
You go on Facebook, you're on Facebook for 5 minutes, you think the entire planet hates everybody hates everybody. You go to a cigar shop, you think, man, the world is good, man. The world is good, and so that's the beauty of it. Really, it's really a special thing.
So yeah, I mean, I guess there are some logistical issues with how you're getting the cigars, as Anthony mentioned, but other than that, yeah, definitely build a lounge. If you can build a lounge in Iran, that will probably cement a lot of the culture or develop a lot of the culture around the cigar industry. Do we have any other questions?
Not yet. I was just going to say though, what Anthony said about walks of life, etc. It's a great leveler in terms of that respect as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can still get a decent cigar for a $5,
Right.
subjectively, but no one cares if you walk upstairs with a £5 cigar or a £500 cigar. It doesn't matter to it. Okay, you might have a conversation about the particularly expensive cigar.
Yeah.
You might notice it, but you don't think any different of the person for having one. It's not.
I've noticed that, yeah.
Yeah.
People don't
Right.
tend to look at people and be like, oh, you only bought a £5 cigar. Or they'll judge someone like, oh, how could you spend £500 on a cigar? It's like, well, you wanted to buy a £500 cigar. Great. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
you do. What's it like? Is it good? Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I can't afford that. But it sounds like a great cigar.
You know what's one of the good things about the cigar industry as a whole? It's a very small industry, you know, and it's like high school, right? Everybody knows everybody, from owners to sales reps. Everybody knows everybody, right? So assholes get weeded out very quickly, right? If you come into the industry and you're a piece of shit, everybody's going to find out about it very quickly, and you're not going to do well, you know. And Cigar Lounge is the same thing. If you're an asshole, you're going to get run out of the shop, man. People are not going to want you around, and that's how it goes, right? So cigars are for good people.
Even assholes, after they've smoked the cigar, they kind of just chill out a bit. You know what I mean?
I think so.
They'll walk in an asshole and they'll be like, yeah, okay, I'm fine now. I've got my cigar now. Everything's okay.
They relaxed a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snickers got that wrong. The cigar.
Do we have any other questions? Should we go on?
No. No, we
Okay.
don't.
Going back to the subject. So, as you mentioned, you wanted to be the first person who produces an NFT with utility, because that had to be produced. I guess they've got the title of...
Atabey.
Sorry?
Atabey, apparently.
Atabey. Okay.
A United Cigar, I believe, is
Yeah, so they've got the...
United Cigar.
They can make the claim that we made the first NFT. I'm just like, okay, fine, you made the first NFT, but it wasn't a useful NFT.
Sure. I mean, listen, I don't have anything bad to say about that NFT. They're just two different things.
Yeah.
And
No, you don't have to make a comment. I can. Listen, you have to be polite to other cigar manufacturers. That's perfectly reasonable. Me, I can just say, listen, I think it's complete nonsense. I'm not interested in that. I'm fine saying that.
Sure.
But I get it. You have to be little bit more diplomatic about things. Completely respectable. So I'm not going to, try and, weed out opinions or try and put words in your mouth. That's not what I'm not going to do. But what I'm interested in seeing is how other brands will work after your NFT goes live. So do you have an estimate of when your NFT is going live?
Yeah, sometime about mid-July, July 15th to 18th or so. That'll be the range. We want to do it after the trade show in Las Vegas.
Okay, so are you going to have like examples of the Humidor and everything at the trade show?
Yeah, we'll have it all displayed there.
Amazing. So I think possibly companies like Fuente and Padron, definitely Fuente, are probably going to be watching very closely with how this NFT works.
I assume a lot of companies will be watching, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if this is successful, do you think this is going to take off where manufacturers, all the manufacturers basically, start making NFTs and start making limited runs? And do you think this is the way that new manufacturers are going to be operating? Or, I mean, I guess you can't comment about other manufacturers, but in terms of like the industry trend.
Sure. I imagine if this is successful, then yeah, other companies will find ways to participate in it, but I will see, because I don't think you could do this for just any cigar, right? I think it's got to be something special. I can think of a few select brands that might have something that this would work for, but I don't think just any cigar will really
Any examples
for this, right?
you can think of immediately?
I mean, yeah, of course, Opus and things in that range, right? Something special like the Andalusian Bull. I think that's the only cigar that we're currently making that I think I would ever even consider doing this for. Really, I mean, I think the Bull is the one. this cigar, I think, it was born for this. You know, it really, to me, it felt like destiny. But yeah, I think it's got to be something in that range of like kind of demand and mythology, etc. Right?
I agree. I mean, but John already did the 100 count humidor, so they could potentially go down that route with something along the line. They could make an anniversary edition and be like, okay, this is the only anniversary edition that we're producing, and we're going to price it at this one. But
Sure.
I think Fuente is probably the main brand that people are going to be looking at for NFTs as well. And then you're going to have like this segment within the cigar industry where you have NFTs and cigars. I think it's inevitable. I think a lot of people are probably against the idea of it. Not everyone. I think there's going to be maybe a small percentage, but a significant enough number of people that are going to maybe voice their concerns about NFTs.
Sure.
I mean, how do you even address that? Because a lot of people are going to be upset about that. What do you...
Politely, I'm willing to talk to anybody as long as, you know, as long as everything's cordial and polite and nobody's, you know, hurling insults or whatever. I'm happy to talk to anybody, and I have, Steve Saka. He actually posted the Cigar Aficionado article to his page, and he didn't give an opinion on it. To the point he just said, like, I think this is very interesting, and I actually want to hear people's opinions, and let's have a discussion on my page. You know, so he put it on his Facebook page, and there was a ton of discussion. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. And there was a ton of discussion on there, and very mixed, right? So a lot of people hated the idea, and I tried to engage with some of them and like ease their concerns, because there's also a lot of disinformation about things, right?
Yes.
About what NFTs are and this and that. So I tried to ease any concerns and kind of correct any false premises that people might have had. But yeah, some people just hate it. And, you know, what am I going to tell you at that point, right? So I don't really engage with that. But I also posted there.
What are the constructive criticisms that people made? Or not constructive criticisms, but reasonable criticisms that people made?
That, you know, it's going to be priced out of the market. You know, it's not for the average cigar smoker might not be able to afford it, et cetera, which, yeah, are reasonable concerns. But again, I continue to emphasize it's only one SKU out of the many over 100 that we make. We've always made high quality, fairly priced products. I think I'm very much in the right in saying that. And so it's just one cigar. It's one size of one cigar, you know?
There's still that element of LFD being a brand that's always been accessible to everyone, virtually everyone, because your cigars are priced in a way which isn't ludicrous. Even your expensive cigars, as you say, they're $17. I mean, this one, I'm sorry, man, this is amazing. I'm actually surprised at how good, because I didn't think I was gonna. I knew I was gonna enjoy it because it looked like a beautiful cigar, but I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it this much.
That's awesome.
I mean, that comes across like I'm being a dick, like I was expecting it to be bad. I wasn't. I was not expecting this to be bad.
Cuban cigar snobs, man.
Man, piss off. No, I was expecting this to be good, right? I was expecting it to be really good. I just didn't think I was gonna love this more than the Bull. Maybe I haven't smoked the... No, I smoked the Bull like a few days ago. Wow. But anyway, it's just... The cigar's distracting.
Here's the thing, is the Bull is no more special than any other cigar that we make, right? It's made with the same quality tobacco, same level of rollers, same everything. There's no difference. It's no more special than any other cigar we make, right? So it all comes down to preferences, man. The personal preferences.
Yeah. I mean, I did smoke a white label Toro. That was impeccable. Who sent that to me? James.
JD the Red, was it the Reserva Especial?
The Reserva Especial you're talking about.
Double band, white band, Toro cigar. I don't think
He's mentioned it here.
Who mentioned it?
JD the Red. I don't know who that is.
Oh, JD. Yeah, no, he sent it to me. I didn't review that cigar, but I think I'm gonna get that cigar and review. I did film a couple of reviews for some of the other cigars. But that cigar, I didn't want to review. I just wanted to sit back and smoke it because I wanted to see what it was about. Because whenever I review cigars, I like to at least smoke a few of them before I kind of review them.
Sure.
And that one I wanted to, I know I can buy them here, I think. Yeah, I think I can purchase them here.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
thought,
you get them in the UK. Yeah.
yeah. So because I can get them here, I thought there's no point me just reviewing this. And let me smoke a few of them, see what they're
Yeah.
about. That one I think had some age on it because the cellophane was, the
Little
cello
yellow?
wrapper was basically yellow, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that one had a little bit of age on
Definitely.
it. I don't know if I'm going to get one again, which is going to have that amount of age. So that might change the way that I smoked it. But that one was beautiful.
He's
Not
glad you liked it. He's glad you liked it.
Oh, well, no, thank you. I mean, the videos that I produced, sorry, there's a person called JD who sent me a bit of a care package of cigars. One of them was an LFD. Beautiful cigar. Like I said, it was aged, so I don't think it's going to be a good indicator of what the standard line. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that one's just going
Oh,
to be...
sure. Hey, listen, unless you're aging it for like 5, 6, 7, 10 years,
Yeah.
I don't think the difference is that big
Okay.
in how the cigar changes either, you know?
Okay, so in that case, I could get one and it should be fine.
Yeah.
But most of your cigars are priced within like a certain area. They're not crazy. Some of them are very affordable. Some of them are slightly pricey, but very easy. You know, you could buy one, let's say, you know, a few of them a week or something, and you're still not
Sure.
a problem. So this is a massive change from what people expect, or maybe not expect, but envision from LFD. And as you said, a lot of criticism that you, maybe not criticism, but a lot of comments that you received was that this is going to be priced out of the market. This is going to be for X, Y, and Z. So you haven't, I could be wrong, but you haven't done this before, right? You haven't created a cigar which is hyper expensive. This is the first one,
No.
right? No.
No. This
So how
is-
does that kind of...
I mean, we'll see if it's hyper expensive, right? I mean,
Come on, man.
I don't know. We'll see.
Come on, man.
We shall see. Nothing is guaranteed, right? So we
Nothing's
don't know.
guaranteed, but
Yeah, let's say it does end up becoming hyper expensive. It would be the first cigar of its kind that we've made. Yeah,
well, it was already hyper expensive, right? 32,000 for a Humidor of 100, right?
sure.
So it's already hyper expensive.
Sure.
Is this gonna be like a thing that you do more? Do you think that as a company you want to lean into that kind of hyper expensive cigars as well?
No, I mean this is not like the beginning of like this is the new way of doing things for us. No, not by any means. I don't know if we'll ever do another NFT. Right? This might be the only one. We'll see how it goes, and because again, like I was saying, I don't think this can be done with just any cigar. I don't think it's like, oh, okay, new size of double Ajero. Here, but double Ajero's already got like 10 sizes, right? I don't know. It's got to be the perfect thing. It's got to be. I think it's got to be the perfect thing. It can't just be any cigar.
Yeah.
And as of right now, this is the only cigar that I can imagine doing this with.
So potential.
So I was going to say that
Yeah.
leads nicely into a question that Andre put.
Okay.
Jumping the gun slightly since we haven't had the NFT one yet. What's the next big innovation going to be? What do you reckon?
Who knows?
Get ready for your
man?
marketing answers.
Who knows, man? The rules are not the same anymore. You know, the world is changing. Things are different. So who fucking knows, man? We'll see. I think this what we're doing is a giant experiment. I think this might be the biggest experiment in the history of the industry. And depending on how this goes, I'm sure a lot of people will come up with all sorts of other ideas and see where they could take things, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. This could lead to a lot of unforeseen innovations.
It's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Hey, I mean,
absolutely-
the cigar business, man. This is a very old school business. You know? I mean, cigars are made today almost the exact same way they were made 200 years ago. Nothing has changed. You know, like in our fermentation warehouse, there's an automated humidity system with sensors, and the water turns on and off as it needs to. That's about it. Other than that, there's no difference between anything we're doing now and what they were doing 200 years ago.
Speaking of innovation and how things have been progressing with, and the fact that cigars are produced in the same way, last week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, we did a
You were
live
gonna
stream
say this.
talking about machine-made cigars and how, what the perspective would be on premium, long filler, machine-made cigars. Is that something
can't
that
do
could
that.
happen?
No, you can't. You can't make long filler cigars in a machine.
Any reason
It
why?
just won't work. Because long filler has to be handled delicately. It's got to be handled delicately. You need hand feel to get the weight correct, to get the evenness right. So it's one thing like our rollers, for example. They weigh every cigar at the table before it gets wrapped. They weigh what we call the bunch, which is the binder and the filler. So that gets weighed at the table, right? If it's overweight, he can take off the binder, remove a little bit of filler, reapply the binder. If it's underweight, he could add more tobacco. But then that's one thing, right? But then back in quality, after that in quality control, they're going to weigh the cigars again, but they're also going to feel every cigar by hand, because the scale might say the weight is correct, but the scale doesn't tell you if the tobacco was evenly distributed throughout the cigar. Because what if it's packed on one end, empty on the other, it's empty in the middle? Also very important, right? It's got to be evenly distributed. I just can't imagine a machine doing any of this stuff.
Oh,
You
thank
know,
God.
it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
No, we
There's just no
concluded
way.
that, despite, even if the process was perfect, where every cigar was exactly as you want a long filler cigar, the fact that it's machine made would just kind of
Right. But also the machine will inevitably just end up crushing all the leaves, and it'll be short filler anyway. You know, it's not going to have the care and the hand feel to keep those leaves and place them in the right order. It's just, there's no way. There's no way.
Do you use any automatic
And
processes?
it wouldn't be worth it to invent a machine that would do that. Right?
Probably
The
not.
money and research it would take to create that machine just wouldn't be worth it.
Exactly, yeah. It just wouldn't be cost effective either, because
Right.
the upside isn't that much.
Yeah.
Do you use any automatic processes in how you produce your cigars, like when you roll them, or do you use any? What was that machine called? I forgot what it's called. It has a German sounding
Something
name.
roller.
The Lieberman,
That's
the
it.
one.
the one for the binders.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use a Lieberman. Most every factory these days uses a Lieberman. It's still, I mean, it's a very old school machine, right? It still,
Yeah. It's a
still
hand
requires
pump kind of thing.
elbow grease to work. Yeah, most of our rollers use a Lieberman. There's a couple that prefer not to, and they're more than free to do it without it if that's what they want. But yeah, most of our guys use. I don't consider that to be automated.
No, it's
There
not.
is
It's
no-
not. It's not. When initially I thought, wait, what's going on here? But then when someone explained exactly what it was, I was like, no, that's not. That's not anything
Yeah.
like that. Do you draw test your
And our-
cigars?
Yes, of course.
So how
Yes.
do you draw test every
Absolutely.
single one, or do you draw test batches, or
Yes,
every
I
single
do.
one?
We're draw testing probably like 95% of them, something like that. Yeah.
So the rolling process is obviously going to be something which is still very organic, and sometimes issues can occur. You know, no one's perfect, right? So I guess the draw tester just kind of minimizes that any potential issues and so on.
Correct.
One thing this is just a personal thing. I just got to get it off my chest, right? So I hate loose fill cigars, okay? And you know, people watching are probably like, oh, for fuck's sakes, he's going on about it again. Sorry, guys. I just got to talk about this for a
I'll
second.
just wait for the comments to roll in.
Certain brands, which I love, I adore the cigars from them. But there's always like, with Cuban cigars, what you find is they kind of, they have this potential risk of being overfilled and maybe plugged. And I haven't actually I've had like one cigar maybe in 5 years that has been heavily plugged to a point where you can't just do anything about it. But the majority of them, fine. But I get it. You know, Cuban cigars generally have a tougher draw, a little bit more resistance to it. This one has that same kind of tough draw, which I like. I really like that resistance in a cigar. But then there are loads of brands that are kind of, maybe, I wouldn't say afraid, but a little bit more careful about making a cigar which is potentially plugged and kind of lean too much on one side, and then you get that underfilled cigar. How do you combat that? How do you make sure that your cigar isn't going to be underfilled?
You have strict standards. I mean, every cigar has a weight. Like I was saying, the roller at the table, there's a range that cigar has to fall within, right? So let's say it's a cigar that weighs 10 grams. Well, all right, so it's got to be between 9.9 and 10.1. And if it's within that range, you're going to be fine.
So
right?
it's that strict. It's like point figures.
Yeah. It's a very strict, and that's why we require them to be weighed at the tables, so that, because it's for our benefit and for the rollers' benefit, because rollers get paid on approved cigars, right? They don't get paid on rejects. So it's for their own good, right? So they're not sending cigars that are going to get rejected. And then at the end of the day, it's about we're not afraid to reject a cigar, man. If the cigar is not bad, it doesn't leave the factory. I mean, if we catch it, it doesn't leave the factory. I mean, it's as simple as that. We don't make the customer pay for our mistakes. That's our policy, and we don't break that. To the point where our rollers hate us sometimes. Like we pay the most in the country for rollers, but we're also extremely strict, right? So you can make a lot of money in our factory if you're a good roller. If you're a crappy roller, you have a very bad time in our factory. And that's how it is. So you just gotta be strict, man. You just gotta be strict. And of course, bad cigars will always escape, but you have to keep it to a minimum. Yeah. And there's a lot of quality control steps. You weigh them at the table. They go through the draw test machine. They go into the quality control department where they're weighed again. They're felt up and down by hand. There's a lot of steps involved in the process, and you have a lot of filters in place.
What happened to the bad cigars then? Do you just throw them away, or what happened to them?
No, employees of the factory will smoke them.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, so someone's
you give them to the roller that rolled them, so they smoke the bad cigar.
This is what you made. Smoke it.
See, we mentioned the rollers a lot, and it's something we've heard from other representatives of manufacturers. To a greater or lesser extent, the sort of culture of their factories affects their cigars and their company as a whole. I'm just wondering how much the culture of your staff affects your company and your cigars. So we've heard it from some people.
Sure. I mean, listen, man. You want people to be proud of what they're doing, right? You want them to be proud of the company. You want to be, the accomplishments of the company should be their accomplishments as well. Like when the Andalusian Bull won, it was a big deal at the factory. I mean, the work stopped that day, and beer flowed. Beer flowed like the Nile, my friend. It was a party that day at the factory, and everybody was very happy. And so that's a good thing. I don't know if you guys visited a lot of factories.
Unfortunately, we haven't. No.
Still waiting.
Love to.
You're invited whenever you want.
Oh, thank you.
But our factory is not the typical cigar factory. Most factories look like factories, right? They're concrete walls, and they just look like factories, and nothing wrong with that. It works just fine. But we think of aesthetics and design and everything we do. Like, our factory is really fucking pretty, like it looks like an old Spanish hacienda, and like,
oh wow.
We spend a lot of time there, and so do our employees. So we might want to make it a nice place to be. It's a pretty place to be. So that's kind of stuff that all, subconsciously, I think is within people, right? So, and we support our employees. They have their baseball team, they have their basketball team. We're there. We buy them jerseys. If they win, we buy them beer. We celebrate with them. So you take care of your people, and they try to do a good job for you, I think.
That's amazing. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we do.
So we're getting to the stage where as well.
We're getting to the last point where we normally focus on the questions and comments. So yeah, let's run through them.
So, one from JD. Lost it. Have you ever thought of collaborating with other companies, or, as Andre adds on, even companies outside the cigar industry?
It's already happened. This happened a long time ago. When was it? Like 2002, 2004-ish. We did something called the Face Off with Christian Aroa back when he owned Camacho still. It was a cool project where Christian sent his tobacco to my dad, and my dad sent his tobacco to Christian, and they each blended a cigar with the other's tobacco,
wow.
and it was called the Face Off. And that was the only time we've ever done anything like that. But so we have done it. Will we do it again? I don't know. If the right opportunity comes up, I don't know. Probably not.
Do you have any?
Never know.
Do you have any unicorn cigars or something that, things that you've thought of which may not be reasonably possible, but you want to if you had the chance?
A unicorn cigar in what sense?
In like
Or tobaccos.
the kind of tobaccos that you want to use, the kind of vitola you want to produce, some cigar that you may not be able to produce right now, but you definitely want to.
Sure. There's really nothing that we can't make right now other than cigars with Cuban tobacco. Other than that, there's really nothing that stops us from using whatever we want. I mean, yeah, I can't, I can't use Fuentes tobacco from their farm. I can't use, Padron's tobacco from their farm, right? But other than that, there's really nothing that we can't do,
Do you think that
I mean,
Cuban
sure,
tobacco...
I would love to play with tobaccos like that, right? Like I would love to play with Carlitos tobacco and Padron's tobacco, which they make awesome cigars and they grow great tobacco. But they're not going to give me their tobacco. I'm not going to give them mine, right? So but there's amazing growers in Nicaragua. There's amazing growers in the Dominican Republic and all over the world, and we can buy their tobacco and we can play with it. Yeah.
Would you ever want to use Cuban tobacco and blend it with the tobacco that you have?
If it was good, yeah. Why not?
Fair enough.
Why not?
It's an interesting point about the growers, actually, because we haven't really ever talked about growers very much on this channel, or at least not in the live streams. It just struck me, like, what kind of relationship do you or cigar manufacturers as a whole have with growers? Do you get to shape what they grow? Do you get to change anything at all? Or
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They're in touch with what the manufacturers need. I mean, we're in a good position, right? So about 70% of the tobacco that we use comes from our farm. So we don't rely heavily on growers for our tobacco. And that 30%, we buy tobacco from like 7-8 different countries, and we use that to blend with our own and create different flavors. But it's a comfortable position to be in because unless it's good, we don't buy it. Right? So we don't have to buy tobacco because we need tobacco.
How do you personally test the tobacco, and how do you test it?
Yep.
So how,
smoke it.
You smoke it. But how do you smoke do you just like roll up the tobacco and then?
Yeah, you just make a crude little blunt looking thing and you light it up, you smoke it, man, and that's it. The tobacco tells you if it's good or not very quickly.
So how long have you been? Because you blend cigars as well, don't you? And you blend some really interesting ones as well. What was that one that? There was a particular blend. I've forgotten the name of the cigar, which you're really proud of.
Lennox.
The Knox, that's it. How did you come up with that one? Like, what did you just kind of?
So Lennox started off as one of the tobacco distributors that we work with had this new seed of tobacco from Brazil, which they called Cubra, which I think is a Habano seed. And so I tried it, I smoked it, and I fell in love with it, right? It's still to this day one of my favorite tobaccos, and it's got this very particular like dark chocolate, cacao, kind of like roasted coffee type thing. It's got like no pepper, it's not spicy, it's totally on this dark chocolate end of the spectrum. And so as soon as I smoked that, I wanted to blend something with it. And then I created a blend that would accentuate kind of those darker flavors. And so the blend came before the packaging, the name, and anything. But it was kind of a natural fit, right? Because Nox means night in Latin. So it was the darkness of the flavors that led to the packaging, right? And if you notice the packaging, for example, the font that we used for Lennox was based on Vincent van Gogh's handwriting, because I've always loved the Starry Night paintings and things like that. And then you have the circular box represents the full moon. You have the crescent moon on the label, etc. So it kind of the whole theme of the cigar came together after the blend because of the flavors.
Oh, that's amazing.
There's a lot of love for Lennox in the comments.
A lot of love.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people love the Lennox, man. I haven't tried it yet. Man, I need to try that cigar.
Yeah, it sounds like
Lennox will probably always be my favorite project.
Couple of questions, if you don't mind. So, first one is the story behind your first cigar. What happened there?
Oh man. So I won't reveal exactly how old I was for legal reasons, but I was
It's okay. You're in the Dominican Republic. We're in the UK. No one can do anything.
So I was on a vacation from school, and I went down to go spend a couple weeks in Dominican Republic with my dad at the factory, and so we get to the factory one morning, and I'm there at his office, sitting across from him at his desk, and he passes me a cigar, and he says, "Light that up. Today you're gonna learn how to smoke," right? And so I didn't know what it was at the time. It was a prototype for the LG, the Lito Gomez line, which is a limited line that we do that we release once every year or 2 years. And it's if you never tried it, it's a very strong cigar, very strong cigar. So anyway, I cut it.
Stronger than this?
Yeah, stronger than that.
Fuck that.
So I light it and I'm puffing on it, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? I'm not a cigar smoker at the time. And my dad tells me, Tony, if you really want to feel the cigar and the essence and the flavors and this and that, he made up all this bullshit. You have to inhale it. Right? So I mean, what do I know, right? I mean, he's a cigar guy. What do I know? I do it. I inhale it, and dude, I proceed to spend the next like 5-10 minutes like on my knees on the toilet, just puking my life away.
Oh.
And the whole time I'm throwing up, I can hear him laughing at me from his office, from the desk. And then, I when I'm done, I walk back to the desk. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking asshole, man. Like, what would you do? And he goes, Tony, now you know how not to smoke a cigar.
That's a great way to teach someone.
So yeah, but anyway, I learned my lesson. I hope to have a son one day, and I'll do the same thing to him.
Let's hope he doesn't watch YouTube first.
Damn. Second question is, I've heard that there's a story about the fastest smoking competition or something. There's a competition.
I think you're referring to the infamous long ash contest during Pro Cigar some years ago. Yeah. So this was Pro Cigar Festival. This is probably, let's say, 6 years ago, maybe 7. They decided to do a long ash competition for the first time. It also ended up being the last time it was ever done. So they randomly picked which company would supply the cigars. We got chosen, unfortunately for the participants. We probably make the strongest cigars in the Dominican Republic. So, and I was also chosen to MC the event. So I was standing on the stage with a microphone, just talking out of my ass mainly, but I was emceeing the whole thing. And the idea was there was a long ash competition, but it had a time limit. So it was longest ash in 45 minutes, which is a very bad idea because now everybody has to maintain this ash, but they have to smoke as fast as possible, right? Yeah. And this is like after a full day of doing tours of the farm and the factory and everything, everybody's fucking tired. They've already had like 100 cigars. They probably had lunch like 3-4 hours ago, so they might be hungry already. It's just very bad timing on the whole thing. So anyway, it starts off innocently enough, and people are going, they're smoking, it's coming along. But somewhere about the 30-minute mark, things take like a very drastic turn for the worst. And one guy starts puking, and then another guy starts puking, and then another one. And before you know it, it's like, it's just this symphony of vomit everywhere.
Oh.
Like the hotel staff is like running desperately, just trying to grab trash cans from wherever they can and run them into the room and put it next to the people, because everybody's throwing up, but they're not giving up. They're still holding the cigar, throwing up, and then they just keep puffing on it. And dude, it was one of the most disgusting things you'll ever experience in your life. So that never happened again.
I can just imagine them smoking. It was like throwing up, "Mama didn't raise no bitch," and then just carry on.
And there was one guy that, like, he was throwing up, and like his girlfriend or his wife was there. She was like holding his hair, and he's holding the cigar up, and he's throwing up, and she's like wiping his mouth for him, and he's still smoking.
Oh, that's a good wife.
It was really bad.
Fucking hell. What was the cigar?
It was Lennox.
There you go. Okay, don't smoke that fast. I'll keep that in mind. Speaking of strong cigars, how strong would this be compared to the Lennox?
About on par, I would say.
Okay,
I'd say about on par.
this is comfortable.
Flavors are very different. The flavors are very different.
Okay,
But
well, this
I would
is
say they're on par.
this is comfortable. I thought it was going to be really strong, but
Yeah, I'm all right with it.
I'm enjoying this.
We had some scare stories beforehand, so maybe that's why we thought it was.
Yeah.
out.
So one of my friends, I think you know him, Ray
Ray.
Prodanov, Bulgarian guy,
Sounds very familiar.
long ass mustache.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah, there we go. So I'm in the store, right? And I'm like, okay, I want the auto chisel. And he goes, "Are you sure?" Because he knows I smoke, prissy little
Cubans.
sticks, no, just Cubans and just whatever, right? So he goes, "Listen, that's too strong for you. Don't worry about that cigar." So I'm like, "I want to try it though. I want to try it." And he goes, "Listen, do you know Andy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know Andy. Okay, you know what he smokes, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what he smokes." Because he smokes strong cigars, right? Because yeah, he was up last week smoking the auto, and halfway through he had to come down because he was really dizzy, and he was basically gonna puke or something because he smoked this cigar, and he's used to cigars. So you need to stay away from this one. And that kind of spurred me on a bit more. And I was like, let me see what this is about. But honestly, this has been fine.
Good.
The strength-wise is
Good.
yeah.
Barely smoked half of it.
Yeah, but halfway through, that's when you normally get hit with it, right?
By
That's
comparison.
when it can start to kick in a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. But then I'm a slow smoker, so
And you're talking.
and I'm talking. But I haven't let it go out though. So it's not like I'm not smoking it. But yeah, this has
You're
been
doing well,
great.
man.
I think this
Beautiful.
You're doing great.
yeah, I think this might be
Andre makes a good point. We haven't stood up yet.
that's a good point.
Fair point.
My
That's
legs
a fair
feel fine
point.
though, I'm still bouncing here. I think I can go a couple of rounds, I'll be okay. So what time is it? 5 minutes
5
left.
minutes.
But yeah, I think do we have any other questions?
We had one. We have to do it a bit quick fire. So further back, where is it? It's about vacuum. Andre, Funny Anthony says something. We've seen vacuum distilled spirits. Would it be possible to vacuum age tobacco or cigars?
Absolutely. We've done it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and we're planning to do it on much bigger scale. When you age them in vacuum sealed bags, it actually it does magic. It's pretty cool.
How does he what's the difference?
Yeah, just for a layman, I'm not quite sure why.
I have absolutely no clue why. I'm not a biologist. I can't tell you
what-
what's
what-
going on.
Oh, what's the
But
difference? What
why
is
would
the
you do
actual
this?
change? Why would you do it?
I don't know. We always mess around. Yeah, we're always messing around and
Fair enough.
tinkering with things and seeing if you can do anything better. It's been an experiment that we've tried lately, and I don't know why, but the tobacco tastes really good when you do that. So we're absolutely going to be doing that.
So the logical Next step from that, as Andre points out, is space-aged cigars. Cigars aged in space. Get Elon on board.
They're going to be
listen,
frozen.
Man, any collaboration Elon wants to do with us, I'm on board. I fucking love that guy.
We'll hit you up.
Does he smoke cigars?
I don't think
Nah,
so.
he smokes weed, right?
He
Only on
has
radio.
smoked weed once that we
Yeah.
know of. I don't think he's a regular pot smoker either.
No. Any other questions?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to the La Volcano.
La Volcano?
I can't say that very
The
well.
most mispronounced cigar on the face of the earth. La Volcada.
How'd you pronounce it?
La Volcada.
La Volcada.
Okay, well, I just read what was written, so
La Volcada.
here it says La Volcano.
But it's very commonly referred to at this point as the volcano or the avocado or whatever.
Avocado. I'd have that on toast.
Have you got the avocado cigar? What the fuck's that? Amazing. Okay. Are we? Any other questions at all?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's everything, man. No?
We might as well wrap up, yeah.
Yeah. Anthony, thank you so much. Really appreciate
really.
you coming on, and it means a lot. I mean, as you know, La Flor Dominicana is quite close to me in terms of in terms of the cigars that I enjoy. So thank you for producing such incredible cigars that I can afford. Can't really talk about the Lonsdale just yet. We'll see. But yeah, it's been great talking to you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. You guys do an awesome job. This is a lot of fun. Very well done. Very professional. And by the congrats on your channel, because yeah, I mean, you have like a video with like 70,000 views. You got like 40,000, 30,000, 20s. You guys are doing well, man.
We're doing okay,
Really
I think,
well.
Alex and I.
For the cigar business, I mean, that's a lot of views, man.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot, man.
You
That
guys
means
are
a lot.
killing
I
it.
appreciate it. I hope that we can get you on again if you have, some other new projects or something, or just to kind of come on and talk shit for a while.
Sure. I mean, dude, I love talking shit. So whenever you want, man, you just let me know.
Are you in the UK anytime soon? Any plans at all?
No immediate plans. But sooner rather than later, I'll be back. I've been out there various times, probably 4 times already.
Yeah.
So I'm sure one of these days I'll be back.
Well, if you do come, I mean, there's plenty of lounges that, I think loads of, Cigars would definitely want to have you host maybe a couple of events or something. So
Sure.
it would be amazing if you could come. I think people
Yeah.
would be very interested in coming to events where you're there talking about La Flor Dominicana. So if you can, that would be amazing, and it would be an honor for you to join us and come to some of the stores over here. So we'd love to have you, of course.
All right. I will take you up on that next time.
Amazing. Thank
And
you so much.
likewise, you ever want to come down to Dominican Republic, we're here, man. You just let me know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very straight yep from Alex.
Andre asked if you're going to be at Intertabac.
Yes, I will be there.
He will be at Intertabac.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you again for your time. This has been an honor for me, and I'm sure for Alex as well. It's been great talking to you about the NFTs, about La Flor Dominicana, some of the stories, and thank you again, man. I really appreciate your time.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure. Thanks to you guys.
Take care, man. Thank you again.
So, are we going off? Are we going to say goodbye?
Yeah. Guys, thank you for joining the stream. The stream? That sounds wrong.
Don't cross
I'm not going to call it that.
Don't cross the streams.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for joining the show. Is that a word I can
Joining us.
Joining us. Thank you for joining us. It's been great. Your questions have been brilliant as well. So thank you for the questions and the comments and everything. Really appreciate it. As usual, hit the like button, subscribe, share, all that, typical stuff.
Yep.
And I hope I see you guys in the next one. We're doing another live stream
Tomorrow. Hopefully I don't burn my fingernails too much, because I'm definitely going to try and burn my fingernails on this cigar, because it's...
I've got a poker.
Fucking
I've got a dagger. I've got a cigar dagger.
Oh.
But I'm going to use it, so fuck you.
And that's the end of the show.
Thank you guys. See
See you
you.
again.